access level has recently increased. Excellent.
Incoming message.
Welcome, agents, to episode 70 of Behind the Scanner. Your hosts for tonight are Daphne D. from Washington, D.C. Our special guests tonight are Jeff Brite from New Orleans and Sarah from Detroit. I'm Kelly Colton. Welcome to the show. Join us during the broadcast in our live chat room on our website, behindthescanner.com, and click on Chat. The Q&A tool is enabled for tonight's broadcast. Submit your questions throughout the show, and we'll ask as many as time allows. If you know someone who would make a great guest, submit their information to us at behindthescanner.com and click on Guest Suggestions. You can watch past episodes and subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/behindthescanner. Or you can listen to audio-only episodes at soundcloud.com/behindthescanner. And now, your hosts of Behind the Scanner.
Your audio, Andrew. You are muted.
Everybody's got a drink. It's gonna be one of those nights.
Yeah.
I know.
Cheers.
I think that went the complete opposite way of what we wanted it to go. I wanted to add you back into the intro, and instead I removed both you and myself. But hey,
Yeah.
we got the guests, right? So let's see what else we can screw up tonight. Well, welcome everybody to another edition of Behind the Scanner. Tonight, and from this point forward, we're actually going to be changing things up a bit. Normally, we sort of do 2 separate interviews, but you listen to the feedback from you guys, and we're going to have the guests join simultaneously and ask them questions together and separate, and hopefully get a little bit more of a conversation going. So with that, please welcome our guests for this evening. Joining us from Detroit, Michigan, the home of my favorite American football team, the Detroit Lions, is Resistance Agent Killa Huntress. And from the land where plastic beads are worth more than gold, Enlightened Agent Billo Maxim. So, welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hello, Jeff. There you go. I was going to say 2 shots right away, but you unmuted yourself. That was good. So, well, let's just start off with an easy question for both of you, and let's do ladies go first. So, Sarah, how on earth did you pick your agent name?
Actually, I entered my name into the Wu-Tang Clan name generator, and that's what it popped out.
Nice. Jeff, what about yourself?
Anybody who knows me knows that I'm dyslexic, so I actually misspelled my name. And I put in name change request, but they denied it, so I just been rolling with it. It was supposed to be Vile Maxim, which is from an Adam Smith quote that I like. But anyway, so it's misspelled. So since I'm dyslexic, it sort of fits. Anybody who talks to me online knows it.
Gotcha. So, Sarah, do you celebrate the Wu-Tang Clan catalog? Are you a fan, or is it just?
I am a bit of a fan.
Nice.
Or you can't say, there you go. Wu-Tang Clan.
Didn't they just come out with a new one? Although obviously not all the members are there, but I thought they just released a new song. Yeah, they made 1 copy of the album and then auctioned it off for like $500,000 or something like that.
Wow, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, there's something crazy. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, guys. You both have some pretty interesting accomplishments on your resume. Jeff, you said you started a pirate radio station. What was that experience like, and how long did you run it?
I ran it for about maybe a year before the FCC came and visited me. But yeah, it was stressful because it was run out of my apartment. It was on the FM band. At the time, there was being challenges to the FCC's regulation on the airwaves for the micro broadcasting, which is what we were trying to do. and we actually had lawyers lined up to take on the FCC. We're waiting for them to come. But my crew that I had around at the time kind of fell apart before we actually could take them on. They came and knocked on the door, and scared everybody away enough that we didn't actually do anything else after that. We eventually sent our transmitter to a Memphis group that was doing it, and then they got busted and they got confiscated. But anyway.
How strong was your transmitter?
It could cover most of New Orleans. So it's like 40 to 100 watts. We boosted it at the end.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
Unfortunately, we were located in Metairie, and if you know the geography of New Orleans, a lot of a broadcast was happening over the lake. But so we did better to have it in the center, but it was harder to get right on an optimal place.
Well, I'm just thinking about how I've always wanted to get into that sort of thing, but I've always been afraid of being busted by the FCC. Did they literally just roll up in vans and knock on your door and flash some badges? Or?
Yeah, but they didn't. They showed up and they banged on the door and they got my information and they knew what we were doing because the FCC was being challenged in court and there was restraining orders on the FCC on some of the micro-powered radio station. That was what they wanted us to call it, so we called ourselves pirates anyway. There was a challenge because the FCC wasn't regulating the airwaves in a way that allowed a lot of community access, and that was the challenge. It was mainly only corporate stations that usually own multiple radio stations. So that's what the goal was, is to challenge their regulation. This is the internet was around at the time, but it wasn't in everybody's house like it is now. So now it's sort of not as important, I don't think. Maybe some of the micro-powered radio station people might throw rocks at me for saying that, but the internet's made it a lot easier to reach an audience if you're not a part of the mainstream.
Well, something that the internet didn't really make easier is walking dogs, being a dog nanny. So Sarah, you have to spill the dirt. What's it like being a dog nanny to extremely wealthy people? Do they feed like their cats and dogs beluga caviar?
You're pretty close. It was definitely one of the most interesting experiences I've ever had. The one dog in particular, if the woman was leaving for the day and her dog was in a classical mood, I'd have to turn on Beethoven. If she was feeling like a diva, Beyonce would be on. There was some very, very, very expensive dog food. If the dog got tired while walking, I was required to pick the dog up and carry it home.
Oh my!
Did you have to brush it 30 brushes on the left and 30 brushes on the right too? Is that...
Kind of, yeah. I had to use one of those little baby brushes too, so not to hurt the dog, in case there was a kink or something. And she also had six cats, so it was interesting.
So are you ruining your career by broadcasting this?
No, I don't do that any longer. I couldn't handle it.
She's retired. She's turned it over to somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, well, if you are watching us, you can interact with our guest and with Andrew maybe if you want, or Daphne if you want also, because she's in the chat. So you have to go to our room chat website. So behindthescanner.com, you have to type it on your Chrome browser and just click on the top that says chat. Maybe Andrew's showing it. Yes, you are showing it. So put your agent name and just click enter, and that's it.
All right.
There you go.
So what about hobbies outside of Ingress? Are there photography, cooking, martial arts, just being interested in tech in general? Do you guys have any? Jeff? What about you?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was trying to figure out who was supposed to. I do. Since I have kids, I do a lot of board games, and we spend way too much time playing Minecraft. Since I'm into IT, so I do lots of tech. I've played with drones and build my own servers at home and stuff like that. And I don't know. Yeah, a lot of geek stuff.
So I got to say, being a father myself, my kid watches these Minecraft videos on YouTube like nonstop.
Yes, yes, that's the phenomenon.
Stampy, I think it's Stampy. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know the ones he's watching, but they definitely watch more videos of people playing Minecraft than ever playing the game.
It is crazy. I can't relate. It looks fun, but how about you, Sarah? What interests you?
I guess my hobby would be adventuring. Anything I can do to see new things, experience new things, and also treasure hunting. I like to look for treasures on the beach and in big piles of dirt, and I absolutely love it. And I probably have driven my resistance crew crazy, posting pictures asking them for help identifying these things.
Nice. What's the coolest piece of treasure that you found yet?
Actually, I have it right here. Detroit Creamery bottle.
Oh.
It burnt down in the early 1900s, and I found this well outside of Fort Wayne, Detroit, when I was just looking at the ground.
Wow.
Wow.
Cool.
There's treasure everywhere. You just have to.
Everywhere, you just have to look.
I also heard that little bird told me you're a photographer too. Is that right? You take pictures?
Yes, I am. I do. I take pictures for money. I'll gladly take your money.
So is it human subjects? Is it still life? What do you sort of specialize in?
I tell people my specialty is I take pictures. I don't make them. I don't use Photoshop or anything. I try and follow around my subjects, whether it be children, dogs, families, and I try and catch them having an actual good time instead of forcing them into smiles. And it pays off for me. People really enjoy it, and nothing's better for me when they say, "Oh, you got her face," or that one special thing she does, you caught it, and that makes my day.
That's awesome.
That's great. Well, but coming back to Ingress, how did you both find out about the game, and well, why did you make your faction choice? So we can start with our cute resistant agent here.
I actually found out through my husband, and we were looking at the different descriptions, and we both identified with the resistance more so than the enlightened.
Can I ask a follow-up? What was it specifically about the resistance lore or description that you identified with?
Honestly, I don't remember right now. I just remember thinking this is the team for me, and come to find out, I was talking to some frog friends recently, and I was teasing them, calling them alien sympathizers, and they said, well, at least we don't work for the Terminator.
Right.
And I never thought about it that way. We are a Skynet team.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well, I picked the enlightened mainly to troll a friend of mine who was on the resistance. I knew nothing about the game, and he was telling me about it. And he was like, and at the time, resistance pretty much ran the city of New Orleans. I mean, it was awful. It was like 80% of the portals were blue. It was, and so once I found that out, that was the other thing. It seemed pointless to join the winning team. Anyway, so I joined because he was resistance and because the resistance was winning. And then soon after that, after I don't know a couple of months of that, my friend ended up flipping green, so it didn't work anymore. I couldn't troll him. But I knew nothing about what the factions meant or anything like that. Softly, I had to appeal to the word resistance, as you might be able to guess from the FCC pirating radio station days, but it didn't seem to matter. It didn't matter to me. It seemed arbitrary.
Favorite colors are also things that people will say. They like the blue or they like the green, and that's how they picked. But yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Let's see here. So we're still getting the hang of this new format with having you guys on. So why don't we take sort of a quick quick break and intermission, if you will. You guys can go grab another beer. We've got William, who was one of our guests. He's going to be filling in for Jose right now. He's going to be doing the weekly truth segment. He's going to catch us up on the storyline. And let's see if he's there. Are you there? Can you hear me? I think you're muted right now, but
I'm here.
All right, excellent. So welcome, sir. We appreciate you coming back and filling in last minute. What's been going on with the story? What's going on in the world of Ingress?
I was waiting on my notes. You got me on.
Too fast, too fast.
2 minutes behind.
Mute your Hangouts too.
Yeah, please.
Moon's fault. No, there was a couple things going on in the story. It's not been really too busy. They rolled out the new Edgar Allan Wright Medal, which is supposed to be awarded to people basically of high standing who have contributed to the investigation, which JoJo received that for her word of the day, which she took over from Richard from forever ago. I didn't quite figure out what was going on with the story that led up to that, which was kind of interesting. Oh, cool, I have notes now. Oh, boy, let's see here. Had some help with some last-minute info here because I haven't been 100% paying attention here, so I'm trying to dig in really cool. So, let's see here. Got some info was set to X, so agents quickly figured out that a dead drop was planted near the Robert E. Howard Museum in Cross Plains, Texas. So, thanks to some actions of others, some clues were revealed yesterday. So thank you for Keisha W. for grabbing that dead drop. Things like that really help us in Essex further the story because the information's not necessarily faction related. It's related for all of us in general. It's not necessarily faction specific secrets and anything. So we got a tip off also as well. Richard is saying from a trusted source, which claims to have intel on the Abaddon Anomaly series. Contains a picture of the series with missing researchers. So one of the things we've been discussing in the storyline is that people are kind of disappearing, and we're not really sure what's going on. I mean, the theories behind Ada disappearing. People don't know if Ada is alive or lost or things like that. I mean, I'm kind of personally in the opinion that Ada's hiding, but some other random things are coming out with characters being mentioned, but we're not really 100% sure where they're at, which is kind of like the fun part. So we don't really have a whole lot of details on the latest thing that Loeb's kind of given to us, so we're still investigating that. And that's the main things that have been going on. It's been kind of quiet, except for the cross-plane stuff, which that and the metal. We don't really have a whole lot of information on the metal. Edgar is supposed to be releasing that to whoever he deems fit for it, and we're not really 100% sure on that.
Yeah, I would imagine that things are going to get really interesting here, really
metal,
soon.
Because it's like, I don't know if I crashed. Nope, there it is.
You're still there.
Everything froze up real quick. I'm like, great.
Yeah, so, from the little I've been following it, I imagine that maybe after Saturday or Sunday, this coming week, things are going to get really interesting really soon. A lot of things are supposed to happen.
Definitely. In the Flash Start event, too, we're not really sure if that's going to be pertaining to the story or if that's going to be pertaining globally, anomaly-wise. I mean, I'm really hoping that it helps further the story, and the information that Richard revealed to us is going to help give us more information on what's going on with these missing people that I mean, there's only so much information out there. I mean, if we could dig deeper, there's just finding a starting point to go and find that particular information. So sometimes it's just a waiting game of waiting to see what happens, and maybe these people, I mean, the theory is that they might manifest with the flash shards, and we're basically fighting over, who we can not necessarily control, but each team will be fighting over reassembling these people who've been sharded. That's I think pretty much mostly what's been going on for the last week here. I guess I should pay a little bit more attention, but I'm busy riding motorcycles.
It's all good. That's why you're part of a collective. They all help each other.
Well, no, and that's the great thing about Essex, and a lot of people don't understand is Essex is a conglomerate of all of us agents from both factions, and it's not faction specific. We're there to investigate the truth, and that is our main goal. And we just drop all faction stuff, and it's the truth is what we seek, and that's the best part about it is we're able to work together and figure out what's going on, because we want to know what's happening. Hey, I saw that. You're making
That's
a face
right.
on the camera. I'm so sorry. Oh boy, nobody else gets to see that either. So, if you do get media when you're at an anomaly and it's story related, make sure you get it to somebody like Andrew, me, Mumu, any of the other people, and Jose, so we can actually get that information out to and investigate it and find out what's going on. That way we can help further the story and find out what's going on, and then we can bring that to you here on Behind the Scanner as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you, sir, for coming on. I know it was last minute, and
hey, I'm here. Glad to help.
Appreciate it. So, yep. All right. Well, all right. So, what are we gonna do next? All right, real quick before we get back to our guests, it's everybody's favorite part of the show.
Does that mean that there's media that gets dropped that's unique to during anomalies? I didn't know that.
That's a great question, and the short answer to that is yes. It doesn't necessarily have to be specific to the anomaly, although sometimes things will drop near around anomalies, either a day or two beforehand. It could be. I don't think they drop during, because nobody's really paying attention.
During hacks, so they're not like just on the ground, right?
Correct. So let's see. Was it San Diego? Like the San Diego Comic-Con, there are some things. There's these special media that make up clues or breadcrumbs from Hank Johnson's memory that people are trying to piece together.
Huh.
The reason for that is Hank Johnson is what's called a simulacrum, or he was, which is kind of a guy that he's reborn every 1,331 days. So weirdly enough, NL1331, the van, has that same number in it. But every time that he's kind of reborn, he loses his memory. And so he leaves himself breadcrumbs to try to figure out, and find himself again. And one way to get these is by hacking portals, and they're very distinct. You'll look at it and you'll either have a reaction of, what the hell is this? Or you'll know exactly what it is. And if it's either one of those and it's related to the story, then OperationEssex.org, or myself, or him, or Mustafa Said, or Typhoon Jim, or Yixing Lee, Jojo Strike, all these people will help you out. So,
all right.
Keep your eye out for that. So especially, New Orleans, you guys might have some interesting things coming. We'll see. But, all right, good question. However, let's do this. It's the code of the show. Look at that, like magic. They just appear over my shoulder. So those are limited redeemable codes. You can share them, type them into your scanner, put them into the Intel page. You'll get a bunch of stuff for them. Leave them up there for a few more seconds, and then we'll get back to the awkward questions and pauses and and see if we can't get this thing rocking and rolling. So. All right. I think that's good enough.
Oh, that quickly?
That quick, yeah. Well, people know where to go. They can watch it on YouTube/Behind the Scanner if they want to get it again. All right. It's gone, just like that.
Damn, I only redeemed one.
Well, if you got one, somebody else got the other one. I can promise you, they're gonna start flowing everywhere. All right, so we don't have anybody from Fev Games joining us tonight, mainly because there's not much going on with the scanner app this week. We had a lot of stuff the prior week. So let's get back with the interview. And Jose, why don't you kick things off?
Jose?
Jose.
Oh my God.
It is one of those nights, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to sleep well after we're done.
Well, since we have you both on here, let's talk about cross-faction for a bit. What are cross-faction relationships like in your area? Can you start, Sarah, please?
In my preferred areas of play, the X faction is actually pretty amazing. I We have very good communications between blue and green. I started a teal party cross-faction hangout that's been going pretty awesome. I just prefer to keep my digital enemies as my friends, and it works out pretty good for us.
Cool. Jeff?
New Orleans, I think we have pretty good relations cross-faction. I mean, things sometimes flare up, but the kind of the active players on both sides usually take a leadership role to try to de-escalate. You know, when two players get in on each other. It's usually when one faction's besting the other. Is usually when there's something flares up. But we have first Saturdays. We get together. We do our thing, and I'm friends with a number of the resistance. Personally, I'm friends with a number of the resistance players. That I would, you know, we meet each other out. We buy each other beers, and it's good.
I think it's amazing how far and well become all those cross-faction relationships. Because I remember at the beginning of the game, it was so terrible. It was everyone was fighting with the other guys and a lot of problems. And now things are smooth and good.
So you're saying it's better across the board? Because it seems like when new players come in, it's almost like tribalism. They just start believing all kinds of horrible things about the other, and you're like, no, it's random what team picked, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what I tell everybody. The only thing that separates us is on day one we pressed a different button.
Right, exactly.
Sure.
It's bizarre when people start vilifying the other team.
Yeah. Also, it's the game. People tend to forget that too.
Exactly.
There have been some really interesting cross-faction relationships too. I mean, people have found love. They've gotten married. They've had babies. There's teal babies out there.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
One of our former guests, Kelly Reibel, now moved to Germany because she fell in love. Got married with Alexander Becker out there. I think they're both resistance, but they're expecting their first child like any day now. So yeah,
wow,
it's pretty cool.
I would say X Faction is probably half of what makes this game fun for me. I know a lot of the people who've been playing a lot longer absolutely do not share my sentiment, but it makes it more fun that you can hang out with your enemy, and they're not really your enemy except on this game, and afterwards you can go have lunch or go to their house and play some games. It shouldn't stop people from being friends.
Yeah, that's what I always tell the new players is that we're at war with their agents, not the players. You know.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, speaking of being at war with the players, though, or the agents, well, the players too a little bit. There's the whole psychology of the game, getting in people's minds, playing little mind tricks. You know, the game's in comms. You know, oh, we're going to attack here, and really not. All those sort of things. Do you guys play into that? What do you think about the mind games of Ingress? Do you turn a blind eye to it and ignore it?
So real leaks actually happen, right? And so I definitely have played into playing the psychological game to make sure that they can't tell what's misinformation and what's real information. So I've definitely participated in that. I don't think they believe anything I say anymore, so it doesn't matter. But I mean, there are times where for some reason at one point in time we had a cross-faction Zello. I don't know if y'all use the Zello app, and it was mainly just us singing karaoke, changing the lyrics to the songs to diss the other team. It was a lot of fun for a little while, but unfortunately, even in the middle of an ops, you might hit the wrong Zello channel and leak information. But so sometimes we would just do that anyway, just take down the blockers, they're up the field now. And there would be nothing going on, but just because they can't know what's happening ever. But I think there's another psychological aspect of the game, and it's about team morale and morale building on your own team, and how to interpret what if the other team is getting the best of you. How do you interpret those, especially for the new players, because they'll interpret like some monolithic thing happening, and it can affect morale. I've seen the other team start infighting with each other. I've seen our team infighting with each other just based off of what one team's doing a change in tactics that one team's doing. I think that's interesting.
Sarah, how about yourself?
Oh, the people I keep close to me, we don't participate in that. There's some of that happens in the Detroit Resistance, but not in my tribe. We try and avoid that if at all possible.
Sarah's a lot nicer than me.
I get that a lot, that I'm way too nice. It bites me in the ass quite often, but whatever.
I will say that my one, I guess, psychological mind trick game that I accidentally played was there may have been alcohol involved too. We went up to sort of like a resistance stronghold just to kind of just do some things. We're leveling up agents actually that night, and there's a particular portal right in the middle of everything that really stands out, and the resistance came to attack us, and so we're like, well, there's 12 of us here, and there's only like 3 of them, so let's mod it up and see if we can get them to burn down some XMPs. And instead of putting a very rare shield on it, I put a very rare link amp on it.
No.
Yeah. This was like, I don't know, a year and a half maybe ago, so they weren't quite as common as maybe they are now. And immediately, like, things stopped, and I heard the guy going, "Get on Intel, check for link paths." Oh my God! What are they linking to?
Something is happening. Perfect.
Totally unintentional. I shouldn't really relay that story because now they knew I did it on accident. But yeah, it looked pink to me, so I thought it was the very rare shield.
Yeah. Capsule those, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, even though this is a new format and we have both guests at the same time, you can still send some questions to them. If you are watching us via YouTube, you have to click at the banner at the bottom of the video that says "Be part of the conversation," and from there you just click on the square grid menu icon in the upper right and select Q&A, and that's it. There's the questions will be held by Andrew at the end of the show.
Hopefully. Yeah, I think everybody behind the scanner is suffering from some sort of bug, so remind me when we get to that part. That being said, if you want to take part in our chat room, we also have, we're going to solicit questions there in a little bit, and we do give out codes if you post a question for our guests in there. Just go to behindthescanner.com, click on chat, and then join us. So we'll be getting to the viewer questions here really, really shortly. Before that, though, we were talking just a second ago about the opposing team. We kind of mentioned the relationship, some of the relationships of what you guys have with your own faction, but how much cooperation is there? Like, do you get together for dinners outside of the game? Sarah, you mentioned going to people's houses and playing games. Is that something you have a game night?
Oh, that was actually with Two Frogs, the game night.
Okay, some cross faction. All right.
Yeah, but almost every Friday, the Detroit Zamboni Mafia gets together for lunch, and we have probably, from what I can see, the best communication that I've seen in Ingress. No offense to you guys, I've never seen the way you work, but we are always communicating. There's never any sort of drama. If anyone needs anything in and outside of the scanner, the whole team is there to rally around whoever is in need, and it's absolutely amazing. I can't say enough wonderful things about my crew. Also, we throw millions and millions of MUs monthly, and that doesn't hurt either.
Nice. Jeff, what's your team like down there?
Well, we have it's a mix of like casual and hardcore players. I assume that's everywhere. But we get together. We got together one time to we had one of our kind of active players that was leaving town, so we threw like a little after party and play games, and we'll I don't know if you ever played the game. It's a video game called Artemis, which is like a bridge simulator for, as if you're like on a Star Trek kind of thing where everybody has their own roles and whatnot, and you have to, anyway. So we've done that. I've actually tried to do a cross-faction version of Artemis, but so far I haven't really get the other team interested. But anyway, so we'll get together and show up at a place and play those kind of games. So we've had barbecues, just meeting at a bar and just trading gear, and a bar that has a bunch of portals at it. Yeah, we have a good team.
It's good. Gotta keep those bonds strong.
It's really the game to me. The game to me itself is sort of simplistic. It's the social aspect of the game that makes it. I think if it wasn't for that, it would be sort of uninteresting.
Yeah.
At least that's my take on it.
You agree with that?
Well, sorry.
Sorry?
You said you agree with that?
Yes, I do. The social aspect is amazing. I've met so many amazing people through this game. It's not even funny. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Atwater Brewery, but the head brewer is one of my closest teammates. We have Detroit. I don't know if you can see Detroit Derby girls on our team. It's pretty awesome. I can't lie, and it's all because of this game and networking with people that you would have never ever dreamed of being friends with in the first place. Yeah,
that's what's cool about it. You meet people of all walks of life. It's really cool.
It really is.
Well, but also we have achievements on this game, and let's talk about that a little bit. So, what is been the most difficult medal or statistic you get?
For me, I would have to say the Sojourner. For the first, I don't even want to tell you how long. I thought I had to hack the same portal because it says hack a portal, not any portal, and I canceled vacations and parties, and for nothing. So that would be my most difficult for sure.
That sucks. My Sojourner keeps on messed up. If I get sick, I don't get out of bed to go hack a portal. But so that's probably gonna be more difficult. But around here, the Guardian, the blue Guardian hunters are insane, and there's no. If I'm out really far away, I will capture a portal just to make one of those guys have to drive out there to go kill it, because I know they will. So if I'm somewhere it's convenient for me, I'm gonna start recharging it just because I want them to go out there.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm never getting one. I don't think.
Come to Detroit. We'll help you get one.
They'll pay off somebody. We've had one of our agents go to the Philippines, and they worked it out with the Philippine agents to go kill his Guardian. They don't play around here. Yes, I'm talking to you guys. That's actually caused some cross-faction tensions and whatnot from people who take it seriously. I don't know why people take it seriously, really. I think that's like an aspect of the game that's kind of fun. I don't really get into it. I never go Guardian hunting. But sometimes I've gotten requests for kills, and I'll go do that. But I don't particularly care. And I don't know why our guys care. I don't know why they care. It's just a game.
Amen.
Yeah.
Sounds like you might be doing something right, though, if they're targeting you that much.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe you're doing something really wrong.
Oh no, it's yeah. They have a really good team. They have a really good team of Guardian hunters. That's their.
All right. Well, speaking of some difficult things and achievements, I think that was it you, Jeff, that you played the part of a salmon swimming upstream trying to capture a portal on an island or something like that.
Yes. So. All right, so probably the most craziest thing I've done in the game was we had like 4 of us that decided, and we're all city folk, we have no idea what we're doing, and we got an inflatable boat to go to a portal that's really important to New Orleans. It's off of Grand Isle. I don't know if you know the area, but it's a fort that's on an island off of Grand Isle, so you can't drive to it. The only way to get to it is to either helicopter to it or get a boat and get to it. And so we had the genius idea we would just get an inflatable boat and paddle there. And matter of fact, our plan was we brought 6 agents down there, and we're going to have 4 of them go paddle over to the island, and then 2 of them are going to come back and get the other 2 and go back over there. So we didn't know. We started paddling that way, and we don't know what we're doing, so we're kind of paddling in circles, and the boat's spinning around, and we're like, why? We have no idea what we're doing. And there's dolphins in the water. Anyway, so as we're trying to get out that way, it ends up being that area is a major shipping lane, so there's like these really huge boats going through, and eventually somebody comes up to us and asks, like, what are what do you think you're doing? You're never going to get to that island because the current's stronger than you'll ever be able to paddle. You're only going to get out. You're going to be pulled out into the Gulf at best. And so we had to turn around and stuff like that. But it was one of those stupider things I've ever done, trying to get to a portal.
Oh my god.
So what kind of boat were you in?
It was an inflatable. My friends call it a dinghy.
Like a Zodiac? Okay, like a dinghy. Yeah.
It's inflatable boat. You could fit about 4 people into it, and we just all had paddles, and that was it. It was incredibly stupid. But I didn't know that at the time. It seemed like a great idea, and we were like, we're gonna show those resistance. We're gonna get that portal.
Short of launching yourself from a catapult, I think that you're not gonna get there.
Yeah, well, maybe. I've thought about getting a hand glider. Maybe that would work out better.
Attach your phone to a drone. I think Joe Philly did that once, and just fly it over there.
Boom! There you go.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, you had a little bit of a personal challenge not too long ago. I have no idea how to segue into this, so I'm just going to. You had a brain tumor, right?
Jesus. Yeah, I did. That was in 2003. It was a hot minute ago.
What happened? How did you get diagnosed? How did they? I assume everything's okay now.
Yeah. Well, I have some side effects. I can't find my words when I want. Like right now, I can't think to tell you what my side effects are. So isn't it funny?
That happens to me all the time, though. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I would say that I don't even have that. It happens to me all the time.
How did you get diagnosed?
I was working at a telemarketing agency. Not cold calls. I was calling people who had signed up to donate blood, and I couldn't see half my screen, and then I got a terrible headache, and my fella rushed me to the emergency room, and they thought I was having a stroke, and then they did a CAT scan, and they said, you got something in your brain, we're going to keep you overnight. And 2 weeks later, I was at Henry Ford, Maine, getting my tumor taken out, and I have since named her Marla from Fight Club. I had a tumor, I named her Marla. It's nice to have a name to blame when things are going wrong, but if anything, it just taught me life is short. I have to take every chance I have and seize every moment because you never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
So they get it all? Is everything clear?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have to get follow-up CAT scans every few years now. It was more often in the past.
You're considered a survivor like after 7 years, right? So
it was B9, my favorite bingo number.
Oh, okay.
They thought it was malignant until they took it out.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had something similar to that. I got shot when I was like 20, and that just had the same kind of experience.
I'm so sorry.
You realize. Thank you.
How did?
Oh my god!
You gotta expand the story. You can't just drop that you got shot and what happened?
Well, I kind of feel like I'm not. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to take away from her story, but
Please
yeah.
do.
I mean, it was the same kind of experience, though. So the story was that I was looking for a friend of mine, and I was living in Memphis at the time, and I had a guy come up to me and was demanding that I go in some alleyway, and I did the quick math that if I went in the alleyway, I probably wouldn't survive. If he was going to shoot me, I'd rather him shoot me where somebody might find me, and he pulled out a gun and shot me, and. But anyway, so he ran off immediately, and I ran to. I got up from the ground. I played dead for a second, and then got up from the ground and ran to a convenience store, and they called the ambulance. And it was one of those experiences that was kind of life changing. You realize how short. I remember. I give you an anecdote. I remember being in the ambulance, like traveling to the hospital, and thinking that well, this could be it. And I just remember being extremely disappointed at what I've accomplished in life at the time. That was I was like, I have to do something, I can't just, anyway, so I kind of took life more serious after that.
Wow.
Yeah, you take it more serious and less serious at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. You feel the pressure that you don't have enough time to do everything you want to do.
Exactly. Most people never will understand how precious life is until it's almost gone.
Yeah. So in that
Yeah,
sense,
me
it was
too.
a positive experience, but I don't recommend it. One of the weird things that I get is that because it came real close to my heart when the bullet, and people will say, you're so lucky, and I'm like, you missed the part that I said I got shot because I don't feel lucky. It's the weird thing that people say. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, this coming Sunday will be my, goodness gracious, 2003 12th Survivor
years.
Day.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
12.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my 12th I Lived Day. Yay!
Awesome.
Great. Congrats.
Thank you. And
Well,
I'm
I
glad
don't-
you made it too.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know you that well, but it sounds like the world's a better place with you in it.
Wow, thank you. That's incredibly awesome of you.
Though you picked the wrong team, I just want to say.
Oh, no.
I have to say the same about you as well. Come fight with the Terminators.
All right. If I'm ever in Detroit.
So it went from like being all lovey-dovey, thank you for being here, to screw you, you're on the wrong team.
I do that. I bring that. Sorry.
That is nice cross-faction relationships.
Yeah. So how about this? Let's do some other challenging stuff, and let's answer some viewer questions. You guys want to dive into that pool? See if you can swim.
Let's do it.
All right. Let me look at my list here. So we have got Freak Lord from, I believe, our chat room wants to know. This is for Sarah. Have you ever geocached?
No, I haven't, but I would very much like to do that. It sounds like it would combine adventuring and treasure hunting, but unfortunately, Ingress takes up all that extra time that I could do it.
That's true. Yeah, you do get the little treasure from geocaching, and you go out in the world. That sounds like it'd be something right up your alley.
Thank you, Freak Lord. I will definitely look into that.
All right, so this is from Don Zamboni for both agents. What was the first encounter with an enemy agent like? Everybody remembers their first. So how about Jeff? What was your first encounter with an enemy agent like?
Well, I was really new to the game. I was probably like level 4 or 5 or something like that. And me and a buddy of mine who we worked together, we had one of our portals captured, and it was amazing to us that we could know what was happening because I had alerts on at the time. So we went running over there to go defend the portal. And we were going up against like a level 14 player or something like that. There was no chance that we could ever hold the portal. He kept on blowing it up on us. And we were looking around trying to figure out where he was. We eventually found him, and he ended up being, I consider him a friend to this day. His Neil is his real name, and he goes by Forever Donkey as his agent name. And he's a great guy, and he actually introduced me to a lot of concepts of the game, because at the time, I think I mentioned this to you, the green team, the Enlightened team was pretty disorganized. So it really helped. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it was fairly disorganized. And he actually introduced me to all kinds of stuff about the game concepts that were great. And so I actually appreciate that. He might be kicking himself to know that how much he encouraged me at the time.
Hindsight being 20/20, yeah. What about you, Sarah? What was your first experience with an enemy agent like?
My first experience was actually in Detroit. My husband, who also plays, we were riding our bikes, and all of a sudden we were getting the alerts, because you keep those on, and we raced over on our bikes, and we skidded on the gravel, and then we're looking all around for who is doing this, and then somebody honks their horn at us, and it was, his name is I'm Sorry, and we're sorry. He was taking everything, and then we were redeploying, but he was a much higher level than we were, and again, I think it did make it a lot more fun and spurred me on to see, like, oh, this is what it's like, let's do this. So he probably doesn't know how much he had a hand in me going full kill up.
So in both cases, you got motivated by the other side, and now look at you. Big
Absolutely.
dogs. All right. Let's see. Our next question is from. This is from Freak Lord as well. This is for Jeff. So let me play the clip for you. I don't know why he wants to ask you this, but it's.
Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
I don't know if that's an inside joke, but who is your daddy, and what does he do?
I don't know the agent, so.
All right. Well, he's got a second part to the question, and that is, Are you looking forward to the New Orleans anomaly? And are you going to be leading maybe leading this time?
So we had an anomaly last year, and I was a team captain. I was also part of the anomaly planning team. This time I'm POC, and I probably will lead a team as well. We haven't put all that stuff together. Or maybe that's OPSEC. Ignore what I just said. So yeah, I probably will. My hands are in a bunch of different stuff, so it's hard for me to know exactly. I'll do whatever is needed at the time. Is really the answer, and I'm not certain what that is. But yeah, we're looking. I imagine Resist. We won last year, so I imagine Resist is looking for some payback. So our goal is to try to hold on to victory. Yeah, it's shaping up to be pretty good. I like the way that things are being planned. The rules are quite different than last year. Last year was you get 5 volatiles per cluster and per measurement, and now it's a third of them go volatile. They haven't released the rules, so we don't know, And now there's all kinds of rule changes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
It's the I don't know how to explain it. It's the best thing to happen to you after it's done, but the worst thing to happen in the months leading up to it, right?
I would say it's a lot of work, but I don't not enjoy it. And it may be because I think I have a really good team of people who are really putting a lot of work in it. Sometimes I feel bad that maybe I'm not putting as much as they are. So y'all didn't hear that though. They're probably listening, but. But the team that I have is excellent, and we get together, and we have our meetings and whatnot, and things are moving forward. So I'm not feeling stressed about it at all.
Well, so we just sort of right before this, we sort of touched about you interacting with the agent for the first time and the advice he gave you and taught you. One of our questions from Jennifer Jones to you, Jeff, is what advice would you give a new player?
Well, I guess it depends on what because every player is unique. I would say probably new players. The mistake I think new players make is that they believe that the game is about holding portals, and I think that's the mistake. It's not about holding portals. Matter of fact, some portals are not that important to hold. Some portals are important to hold, but the game's not capture portals. It's a resource game, and if you're going to play it like a war game, you got to play it like a resource game and try to figure out how to deplete the other side's resources, and that takes you can't do it on your own. So you have to meet up with your team and figure out what what's important at least what the team feels is important at the time. I would say probably the most important single piece of advice is meet up with your team. I know some people are socially, have social anxieties, but you can meet up through Hangouts. You don't have to actually physically meet them, and you just coordinate your efforts. It's going to be a much better time if you can coordinate your efforts.
Yeah, definitely. It's the game is designed. The mechanics are to work together, so you can really maximize your potential by working together.
Right.
All right. This question is for Sarah from Max Villain, almost similar to Jeff's name, but the reverse perhaps. The question is that someone's butt behind you? A picture behind your head.
Yes, it is. I totally forgot about that.
That's okay. That's okay. We like that. It adds ambiance.
That is my best friend's boudoir photo shoot, and she was so pleased with how I made her derriere look. She let me keep it and frame it.
I don't know how to follow
totally
it up without
that was
awkward,
there.
So. Well, her derriere is now Ingress famous. So.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There you go. All right. How about this legitimate question? What is the biggest field that you have made? Do you make fields? Are you a fielder?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, yes. We've made so many big fields I don't even know. I think our biggest, most recently, was 2.5 million. We fielded over all of Detroit.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Very cool. My team is amazing with fielding, and we make things very beautiful around here.
Motor City Blue. You should do that during a Lions home game. Just get blue field going. We need some luck. I think we're 0-4 now.
Oh, we just need some new reps.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I could talk about that all day, but let's not. How about undermined. There, okay, so I'm sure you know the person then. I have a question for Jeff. Who is your favorite recruiter?
That would be Undermine. He was Undermine is an incredible recruiter, I have to say.
Okay.
I'm forced to say that. That's his blackmail. I just want to say that's his blackmail. All right.
Is there a reason why he's an incredible recruiter? How does he become an incredible? What sets him apart from the other recruiters?
He is relentless. I would say that's the word I would use for Undermined on his recruiting. He's not so he kind of is our lead for recruiting for the Anomaly, and not only does he probably puts in the most work for actual recruiting, he's actually the organizing of the team that does the recruiting. So and he's always matter of fact, he was apologizing to me because he was down for a couple of days because he had to work or something, and I was like, dude, you're just nonstop all the time, and you can take a couple of days off. It's all right.
All right. Well, I'm glad he's green then.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So Shade from Tree. So I don't know how many episodes you guys have watched. We've done 70 now. I think you guys are episode 70, and 2 times we definitely had one infamous time where we had the topless episode. So every now and then we get this question. So Shade from Trees, watching in our chat room, wants to know, Jeff, will you take your shirt off?
I'll pass, thank you.
Okay.
No one wants to say that. I'm just saying that.
We had to ask. It was a legitimate question. So, all right. So last question for both of you. We'll start with Sarah. This is from Ariel Diana, I think is how we pronounce it. Well, actually, you know what? This one will just be for Sarah. What is the most helpful tip that you've received from a player of the opposing faction? So what's the most helpful tip you've received from a fraud?
That is a very good question. Probably some advice on cross-faction. Long story long, my very first X-Fact meetup, I sat with 2 frogs for 3 hours, and they kind of laid out the game for me. It was actually Freak Lord and Lady Freak, and they basically told me and showed me that the opposite team is not a villain. It's just someone who's happening to wear a different color than you, and that really shaped my Ingress mantra from then on. I preach the X-Fact gospel, and I think a lot of it has to do with them. So I think that's my answer, Alex.
That's good advice. No, that's a good tip. All right, so Jeff, don't answer that question because I've actually got one that came in as we were asking that. What is your funniest noob moment from the early days of playing?
God, I don't. Nothing's coming to mind. Unfortunately, there one time there was. I wouldn't say it was a noob. I was actually I've been playing for a while, and someone had released something. This is before SoftBanks were out. About how link amps actually allow you to put more links out of a portal. It was like this troll that someone had put out. I don't know if y'all have seen that going around. This is before SoftBanks. So I was actually making a field plan with the idea of putting link amps on there so we could get more links out of it. That was and somebody was like, "That doesn't work." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I read it. It was looked like it had the troll was good enough that they actually had an Antec logo and stuff like that describing link amps." I'm like, and when I read it, I was like, "Oh, I didn't know link amps had that capability," And so I was making a field plan with it. And
so the lesson learned you that day. The lesson you learned that day was everything you read on the internet may or may not be true.
Right, exactly. So, but I was like level 11 at that point in time. I just thought it was something because this game is you miss so many things about this game. It didn't surprise me that I didn't know that at the time.
All right, that's.
And I should have known better than internet trolls.
Nice.
Well, guys, it's time for the BDS tradition. And, well, for better or worse, we give our guest 60 seconds to talk about whatever they want. So, please, Sarah, be the first one to take this time.
I want to take this time to give a shout out to the DZM, the Detroit Zamboni Mafia. I'm going to rattle off some names: Gwildor, Beautiful Sam, TJ, Domfear, Malison, Alum, Jolie, Selvo, Strong Force, Don Zamboni, Banjo 2, Warrior Menace, Amazing Menace, Funky, Portalist, Elevator Dog. And I'd also like to give a shout out to everyone in the Teal Hangout: Roller, Freak, Wild, Lady Freak, Krogan, Cressida, Fubar, MK Natural, Magic, and lastly, I would just like to say support your local XFAC, and don't forget to spay and neuter your local trolls.
Wow, that was amazing. Jeff, it's your turn.
Well, I think Sarah's going to embarrass me because I'm not going to remember all the names of people I should be shouting out now. So, but I would like to shout out to Caters to No One. She's my partner in crime with the anomaly planning and really everything in Ingress. We usually are planning stuff together, and she does an incredible job. So I want to say that. For those who don't know, we're having an anomaly in New Orleans. So you can go to you can go check that out and come in. Even if you're a Smurf, you could come. But really, toads are strongly encouraged.
Nicely done. Resistance, you can come enjoy our city too, just not as much as the frogs.
Yeah.
All right.
Bring a toad with you.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming on tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, watching this show. And remember to see us next Thursday. Happy hacking. Outro. Yeah, there it goes.
Let's go. Man, what a night. I had to re-render the video right at the beginning. I'm stealing your questions. We're not in the intro. Wow. I need sleep.
You did great.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a lot of fun.
It helps not wearing pants. I just get more relaxed. But man.
And not wearing a shirt.
No, please.
Jose was sick. Oh, I called Jorge Jose. Oh yeah.